And you know what? The cry of these people who were persecuted for this sake came up to his ears. And Lot's daughter in the book of Jasher, it said she was feeding a man secretly. She would go draw water from a well, and then she would carry it inside the water vessel. She was being a sneaky Gibberim. She was being a mighty woman of valor. She was hiding bread in there because she was a Milanite. She was hiding bread in the jar. And then when she went by this man, she would give him the bread. And so the people of Sodom are watching this guy for months live. And they're like, how is this guy still alive? There's no way. Somebody's got to be feeding him. So they set an ambush to catch her. This is like the secret police, right? This is like the CCTV cameras or the game cameras where they're setting them up, or the surveillance state. Think of like the beast surveillance state just encroaching over them, the spy satellites and the unmanned drones and the aerial vehicles and your neighbor who's going to call the cops on you. That's kind of basically what they created in this system. And they're spying on her. And they watch this man, and they see that it was Lot's daughter that was feeding them. And you know what they did with Lot's daughter? They dragged her before the judges. They rendered a terrible, abominable right ruling against her. They rendered a judgment against her. They covered her in honey and brought swarms of bees to sting her to death. And it said as her cries went up to the Shemaim, to the heavens, Yahweh heard it and was like, that's enough. That's enough. Hers was the last cry that he wanted to hear come from that place. We don't know what's the last cry that Yah's going to hear during our sufferings, our afflictions, our persecutions that are encroaching upon us. We don't know which of us gets to be the last voice crying, save us! Nobody knows whose cry is going to be that. But you know what? Yahuwah does, which is why I always encourage you, cry out to him. Cry out to him, because he said their cries came to him when they were being persecuted in Egypt, when they were being persecuted in different places all over this earth, when they were being persecuted in Babylon, when they were being persecuted in their judgments, when the lost sheep of the house of Israel that were scattered abroad to the four corners of the earth, when they cry to him, he hears us, because every shepherd hears their cries.
This is one of the best feelings in the world. You can only know this by experience. It's something you must change your life drastically to experience. Yah willing, he will give you a chance to carry the sheep from the fold to the shelter at night. This is amazing. I know, tell him.
Honey.
Isn't it great? Now imagine if I did this its whole life, and it knew me, and it knew that I had good in store for it every time. That there was never anything bad in store for it when I did this.
And you know what would happen? As you would separate one sheep from the flock, they would cry out. When we carried them out from the livestock trailer to slaughter them, the sheep would cry out, and the others would respond. The sheep would cry out, and the others would respond. And it was one of the most powerful things to witness, was hearing the sound of the one crying out, because that's what our Messiah did. When he gave up his life, he cried out with a loud voice, and Yahuwah heard him. That's what was it. He said, that's enough. We don't need to hear any more. That's it. And we got to hear that. People got to witness that. It was so powerful. But you know what? The sheep were silent when they actually got slaughtered. The goats screamed. The goats screamed. They were nothing like the sheep. They were so contrasting and different. And the sheep were silent in that moment. And it was such a powerful witness. But